Hello everybody. Today we're going to be working on some fluorescent lights, particularly these back three. You see, these three fixtures are originally, were originally preheat. However, they've all three been converted to rapid start, unfortunately. Now, I have nothing against magnetic rapid start ballasts. They last a very long time, they perform very well, they work very well. But I do believe that preheat should stay preheat. It's superior. So, you can see here where the starter went in that one, and there, and here, where starters would go. That's funny, because this light, see, that one doesn't do that, that one doesn't do that, but this one does, and it is visibly flickering. Certain older ballasts I've noticed don't really like Philips alto lamps. I wonder if this one, that one's not visibly. No, that's also got a Philips alto lamp in it. Anyway, these three are already preheat. That one's not. I guess technically that is a form of preheat. That's just a cheap shop light. It's got one of those. Ooh, that one's flickering. I can't see it visibly though. That's got one of those cheap Lights of America buzz start ballasts, you know, where you turn it on and they go. Anyway, I figured I'd show. You can see there. This is how these start, pretty much instantly. But I figured I'd show these three starting just before I convert them. I was going to take it down, then I said, okay, let me just make this video before I take them down. And there you go. Now, this project is not quite cheap. Originally, for all three of these, I was going to get something like this. This here is a Universal 205 preheat ballast for two F40 T12 lamps. And I was looking for something like this for all three of those fixtures. And I had bought this one, I got this one on an auction for a pretty decent price, but let me just show you, and this is actually not even what I ordered. I ordered a Universal 203, and this shows up. This is a 205. Although I really don't see what the difference is. The label on this is green and the 203 is blue, but it's the same exact thing, preheat. This thing is heavy, like really heavy. This one particular one was made in '65. Yeah, but ballasts that run two F40 T12s are ridiculously expensive. Here's a Universal 203. These are new old stock, but you can see that they've been water damaged quite a bit. And this is what they look like, which I don't really mind, but for $90, I want it to be pristine. For $90, I'm not buying it, basically. And then here's a Universal 205 for $150. That's what we have here. That one looks pretty rough. I mean, it's not bad. Once again, I wouldn't care. But yeah, this one's newer. This is made in '80. But anyway, I've been looking for three of these. And it turns out that I've been looking at it the wrong way. So I'm going to put that Universal... Oops. I'm going to put that Universal 203 ballast in here. But for these ones... These are 1940s, late 40s shop lights. These are ceramic enameled fixture coated reflectors. And you can see up here the ballast compartment's fairly large. It originally had one of those big brick ballasts, But anyway, I was just looking at vintage ballast because people don't know what they have. You know, I was looking for something like that, but I came across 4 of these. These are advanced, not advanced, preheat ballasts for one singular F40 T12. Doesn't say. The fact that it runs an F30 T8 as well, it's probably going to underdrive it some, but whatever. Anyway, I found these, and these fixtures have a big ballast compartment, and one of these, or 2 of these, is almost the same size as one of these. So I don't see, I mean, you know, conventionally, you would have one ballast doing both lamps. Of course, if you have 4 lamps, then you'd have 2 ballasts doing 2 lamps each. But I see no reason why I can't just put 2 ballasts that do one single lamp in one fixture. These are newer ballasts. This one, let's see here, 0583. But anyway, yeah, I don't see why I can't put 2 singular ballasts in one fixture. I think that would be fine. So that's what we're going to try to do first. So I'm going to have to pull this guy down. I'm going to do this one first because this one's harder to get to, even though this one's slightly harder to remove, because the other one, that one's just held up with hooks in the chains. These chains are actually screwed to the ceiling, I think. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna pull that down, and we're gonna do that one first, and then if that works, then we'll do that one and that one. Well, I guess we'll do that one anyway, because I got one singular ballast to put in there. But what I'm trying to say is I don't want to pull this one down if something is not going to work, so we're going to do that one first and just see if the 2 ballast idea is going to work. So I'll be back once I have it down. Okay, so here's the inside of this fixture. It just comes apart from the reflector here. It's held together with these 2 large screws. We need to be very careful with these sockets. I think one of them is showing a sign of cracking. And these are absurdly brittle, which I learned from the other fixture just like this. The sockets are broken on. I don't know if we're going to need any of this wire, but it's in okay condition. Except for maybe right there. All these spidery dweeblers were here before. They're dead. Here's the starter sockets. I'm going to be hooking those back up. This is the ballast. We're going to be removing this. Of course, we're going to be keeping it, don't worry. Alright. I haven't unhooked it, but I got the ballast aside here. Is there a date on this? I don't see one. Anyway, you can see here the footprint of where it was. You can actually see the footprint of where the original one was. But we got all these different screws. So I just want to see, before I unhook anything, if I'm going to be able to fit both of these in here. It'd be nice if I didn't even have to mess with those screw holes. Although, looks like I'm going to have to. Okay, these will definitely fit in here. I'm going to have to make 4 new screw holes. I might be able to reuse, I don't know, 2 of these. Yeah, there we go. So we'll be able to reuse 2 screw holes. So we just need to make 2 new ones. Anyway, I'll do that. I'll get them mounted. I'll see about the wiring. I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to film, but we'll see. As you can see, the ballasts are mounted. I'm aware that they're not perfectly straight, and I'm aware that they're not perfectly center. Of course, I suppose they couldn't be with that. But that's fine, they'll work just fine. Okay, so I've started wiring them up. Obviously, you just follow this schematic. The hardest part is you have to run a neutral wire to the socket and to the ballast. This side should be wired up. I've got it going. Of course, neutral. Neutral goes to the ballast as well. This goes over to starter socket. Comes all the way around, goes to that side, goes in here, and then the blue wire on the ballast goes to the other one. Yes, I did reuse some of this old wiring, and yes, I did have to cut some other wiring. Anyway, this one side wired up, so I'm going to go ahead and throw a starter in here. Try to, at least. And a lamp. Let's see how it runs this Philips Alto lamp. And let's go ahead and plug her in. Just got the thing running off of a computer power cord. Hey, look at that. Turn this light off and we'll do that again. Starter's a bit slow, but then again it is old and crusty. It is the one that was in this light, actually. Of course, it was just disconnected, so it wasn't doing anything. I didn't even know if it would work, but it does. So, let's go ahead and turn it on. Look at that. It's a lot less blink happy that time. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and do the other side now, the same way we did this side, because this side is working. And I'll be back again. Okay, so the other one's done now too. I had a little bit more there. I'm sure you're probably wondering why I kept this crusty old wire instead of just taking them out of the socket. Well, for one, like I said, these sockets are very brittle. And all four on the other shoplight, just like this, are actually broken. And it has cheap ones that are just snapped into the reflector here, which is going to be a problem when I go to do the other light. We'll have to figure that out. I might have to get some new sockets that actually attach like this, if I can find any. Other reason is, well, I don't have any more number 18 fixture wire. I had to scrounge this up. This is just a piece of extension cord, of course, to run back and forth here from the starter. Anyway, I'll go ahead and put the other starter in. We got the other side wired up. Here's the starters, in case you were wondering. No idea who made these. I see BELL and I see a globe. I'm thinking maybe it's a Hubble. That sounds about right. So we'll go ahead and put 2 lamps this time in here. Of course, the same lamps I pulled back out of here. These are Philips Altos. Wondering if this thing, I didn't even notice if it was flickering or not. This ballast did not like the Philips Alto lamps. They flickered quite a bit. Alright, we'll go ahead and cut these lights off. I expect it to work since the other side did. But we could have a 42-year-old defective ballast. Nope. There they go. These are very vocal starters. Let me get up next to it here so you can hear it. Very clicky. I don't know if you can tell or not. These are definitely driving these lamps well. Nice and bright here. I don't even have the reflector on it. So, I'll take it in the other room. I'm going to hook it up to a kilowatt meter, of course, after I put the fixture back together, and we'll see. Okay. It's back together. Got a kilowatt meter here. So we'll go ahead and plug it in. Ooh. And let's see here. Really, only 69 watts. So, it's not quite running these lamps fully, is it? But I swear it seems just as bright as those. So maybe those aren't driving those lamps fully either. You pop one lamp out. Down to 37 watts. This thing's probably only driving these lamps about 35 watts. So let's pop that back in. I'll pop the other one out and just see. Should be about the same. Yeah, more or less the same. Doesn't really like the Philips Alto lamps. I don't blame it. Alright, we'll go ahead and reinstall it on the ceiling. Okay, the fixture's hanging. Let's go ahead and turn it on. Excellent, look at that. There you go. We're going to have to do the other two later because I only have one FS4 starter remaining. And unfortunately, I went to buy some yesterday at the Home Depot, but unfortunately, the Home Depot sells FS2, FS25, FS2, FS22, and FS5, which are all interchangeable, by the way. But they don't sell FS4 anymore. They used to, but they don't anymore, I guess. Lowe's doesn't sell any fluorescent starters at all, so I had to order some. So there's 18 on the way, but I'm not going to change those lights yet because until those arrive, I want them to continue working, and obviously they won't work without starters. So we'll do those when I get those. This was more of just a test anyway to see if my two ballast and one fixture idea would work. Of course, we're going to be putting that 205 in the middle one, and the other one's going to be like this. And I'd say that it worked. Aside from those very slow starters, it worked great. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. And I will see you, I suppose, when I get those starters.